Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, it's a Monday and it looks to be like it's going to be a crazy one. In fact, a lot of people are already calling it Black Monday online. It's not looking good in a lot of ways, and I'm not trying to be the doom and gloom, just that's what it is. Hurricane has made landfall in Florida, Category 1. Expected to bring lots and lots of rain fall to that region. In fact, some areas it could be really bad. So if you live along the northern Florida, the Carolinas, that whole area, you need to be prepared, take shelter, do what you need to do to prepare for that. It stalled out, it looked like yesterday, so it was really dumping a lot of rain there along the panhandle in northern Florida. The Prime Minister of Bangladesh had to flee because of a coup attempt, and there's another country now that is rioting and tearing things up, and it's crazy there. To me, it just shows that the whole world is in a state of chaos and turmoil. It's not even that there's always a pattern. It's just it's just the world is falling apart, and there's another country that's fallen down. The whole Israel and Iran thing is continually heating up. It's expected that at any moment in time, Iran could start striking Israel, and they claim that they're going to send thousands of missiles and rockets and drones all at once to overwhelm Israel's Iron Dome system. Hezbollah, Yemen will most likely be participating in that also. Israel has been trying to build a coalition of allies in the region, and Egypt said that they will not be helping Israel and coming to Israel's aid, because that was one of the countries that Israel was trying to court as part of their little coalition. So things are looking pretty rough in that area. Big news, though, excuse me, is the economy, is the stock market. It's all looking bad. So I've been telling you this for the last couple of days, not just me, I mean other people too. But if you have money in the stock market, you better be careful. You have money in crypto, you better be careful right now. I'm not telling you to pull it all out or anything. I'm just telling you better be careful right now. I'm sure you can, if you're smart about it, you can probably make some money on this. But yeah, it looks bad. Japanese stock market crashed, most that it's ever done in history yesterday, and they stopped trading several times, not just on the stocks, but also on bonds, which bonds is a really big indicator. If bonds are going down, that's really bad. South Korean stock market shut down because everything was going south. Taiwanese stock market crashed. U.S. pre-market trading is everything's down. Everything's down already. Over the last 7 days, the last week or so, there's been about $7 trillion lost in the U.S. stock market. And so that's not looking good. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, is down significantly. $1 billion was lost in the last 24 hours in Bitcoin, and it broke below $50,000. It's come up, I think, a little since then, but it's just not doing good. Pretty much everything is down in the pre-market trading, with the exception, and this is a good indicator, with the exception of defense contractor stocks. Those are going up. You know, it's kind of like people may actually think that we're going to war. Volatility indexes skyrocketing, everything, all across the board. It looks really bad. U.S. dollars dropped in value. The Federal Reserve has called an emergency meeting today. It's just, well, it looks like what we probably all expected is going to happen, is what it looks like. I don't think too many people watching this video, this channel, is probably terribly shocked at what's happening, because this is what happens when you have failed policies and bad leadership and a world that's in a cycle of collapse. Everything's down and everything's gonna get worse, and it will continue to do that for a while, maybe for a long while. I suspect that this week's going to be a little crazy. The news reports coming out of England and all their rioting and all of their pretty much civil war type stuff that's going on there. It's not looking good. Um, the United States, you know, it seems pretty normal here right now. And that's almost a little nervous, makes you a little nervous when you see all of these things going on in the world. And there's not a whole lot of big news coming out of the United States of stuff that's really happening. But I think it's going to happen eventually. I think we will catch up. And this week may be that week to catch up. So I would definitely be on your toes this week, okay? Not just because of the war and the markets, but other things. When there's this much tension and there's this much craziness going on, you never know what people might do. You never know what groups of people might try to do to take advantage of the moment. And so I would be watching that, and just staying on your toes, right? Keeping things topped off, um, you know, making sure you're more alert to what's going on around you, head on a swivel kind of thing. Situational awareness should be at a pretty high level this week. It doesn't mean that all of these events are going to cause something bad to happen in your area, but if the stock market really takes a major tumble this week, I mean, here's something I always think about. We live in a society right now. Our world right now here in the United States is very different than it's ever been, in the sense that we have so many people that have mental problems, people that are filled with hatred and anger, demonic oppression, all of these things that are happening right now in this country, worse than they've ever been. People are more hyper dependent upon systems functioning as normal, right? Whereas 100 years ago, people were much more self-sufficient. If things were bad, it hurt, but they knew they could survive. And so anytime that there is a major upset in the system, regardless of what that upset is, it's a pandemic, it's a stock market crash, it's a war, some major official dies, someone gets shot by police, all these different things that can happen that can just upset things. And when that happens, then it raises the possibility of just the average person kind of losing it and doing stupid things. And if you live around lots of people, then of course it increases your chance of being involved in that or seeing it or affecting you. That's why I advocate live in places where there's less people. Less people means there's going to be less problems. I mean, you're going to have to work harder. You're going to have more responsibility on you. But in the end, people are the common denominator of problems. And the less of them that you are around, the better off you're going to be. And so going into a week of chaotic turmoil, not fully knowing what's going to happen, it may end up being not a bad week at all. It may just be a little on the crazy side, but we'll make it through it. It could also spiral out of control. And so we need to be aware of that. And, I don't think that you need to do any drastic changes in your life, not yet anyways. But I think it would, behoove you to be more alert, top things off, kind of go over your plans, and keep your head on a swivel throughout the week, because it's just that kind of week. You should be ready for this. I mean, you really should. I've been talking to you for years, and I know you're watching other content from other preppers and folks like myself. So it should not come as a big shock to you. Maybe you didn't know it was going to happen this week, but most of you knew that this kind of stuff was eventually going to happen. You can't have the financial policies that we have without, expecting it to collapse at some point. You can't do the policies, the foreign policies, the Middle Eastern policies, the weakness in the White House, the influx of illegals across this nation and many others. All of these things you can't expect to have without expecting some problems to happen. And so now we're getting into that time period of problems. And it's very likely that over the next 90 or so days that these problems will just continue and continue to get worse. And they could get very bad. They could become very painful for a lot of people. But you have gotten yourself ready. And even though you're not at a place that maybe you want to be, you're a little bit more ready than everyone else, and you're going to continue to do that. So I would put a lot of heavy focus this week, not just on staying alert, but also figuring out the things that you can do. I know I hear it from you guys all the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I get it. I'm very sympathetic to that. I don't have a lot of money, and I don't have a lot of time. So I understand that. But we have to force ourselves. We have to make ourselves set aside time. We have to make ourselves set aside the funds to do the very important things. And right now, there are some very important things we all need to be doing to get ourselves ready, topping things off, going over things, revisiting certain plans, whether it's an evacuation plan or a lock ourselves down plan or whatever it is with our family. These are things that we need to be working on, because it looks like it's a crazy time right now, and it's probably just going to get worse. Folks, it is time. It's past time to get your houses in order. You need to be preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.